What's up everyone, Howard PINSKY here with another Affinity Photo tutorial. Today I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to heal and remove objects in your photos. Let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, here we are in Affinity Photo and we're going to look at 3 examples on how you can heal and remove objects from your images. The first example occurs a lot in photo retouching, and that's removing simple blemishes like pimples. And in this image here, this woman is clearly upset about her breakout. So we're going to head over to the left to the tools, and we're going to select the Blemish Removal. And this tool is super simple and works in one of 2 ways. The first way, you can simply just move over top of a blemish and click. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so we can see what we're working with. Hold down my spacebar, pan over to the left, and I'm going to go over here and click again. And it does an incredible job at analyzing the surrounding area and gets rid of those blemishes. I'm going to do one more down here. Now the second way this tool works is with a click and a drag. If you click on a blemish and it doesn't do the best job at removing the pimple, you'll notice here it kind of replaced it with even more blemishes. I'm going to undo Command Z. What I can do now is simply click and then drag to the area that I want to replace it with. So right about here looks like a nice clean area. I'm going to let go and it's made the heal. I can do the same thing up here. I can click, drag to an area where the hair kind of matches, and then let go. And I can continue around my document either clicking or clicking and dragging to get the exact result that I'm looking for. If you're dealing with very small or large blemishes, you can use the left or right square bracket key to increase or decrease the size of the brush, just like this, and then make the heal that way, just like that. So that's example number 1, using the blemish tool to remove smaller imperfections such as pimples from your image. Let's hop over to this image of Stonehenge, which I shot several years ago, to take a look at the next feature, the Inpainting tool, which again can be found in your tools to the left, in the same flyout that you found the Blemish Removal tool. Now this tool works a little bit differently as it lets you paint in the areas that you want to heal. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit, Command or Control plus, and pan over to the right to these people in the background. And let's say for example I want to remove these people. I'm going to increase the size of my brush with my right square bracket key and simply paint over top of them, and you're going to see a red overlay, and that's indicating the areas that's going to be healed. I'm going to let go and Affinity Photo is going to remove those people. I'm going to do the same for this guy over here. And just like magic, those people are now gone. If I want to remove this guy, I can simply go over here, paint in, and he disappears. And for an extreme example, I could increase the size of my brush, paint over top of this rock over here, and if I zoom out, it looks like those people and that rock were never there in the first place. And you can use this feature to go around and remove pretty much all of the people in the background of this photo to really bring the focus to the stones in the foreground. The last tool I want to show you is the regular healing brush, which again can be found in the same spot you found the Blemish Removal tool and the Inpainting Brush, right on the side with your tools. And this tool works by sampling an area to tell Affinity Photo exactly where you want to heal from. So for this example, let's say we want to get rid of the rope that's in front of this elephant. Now before I do any sampling or any healing, I'm actually going to create a new layer so I'm able to work non-destructively. And I want to make sure that current layer and below is selected at the top. So now that that's done, I can hold down my Option key and click to create a sample so Affinity Photo knows exactly where to heal from. And then once a sample's in place, I can simply start brushing to remove that rope, just like that. And one thing I found very useful is to sample and sample often. So I was running out of room, so I'm going to hold down Option again and create another sample. I'm going to leave this area alone for now. We'll get back to that in a second. So I'm going to hold down Option again, start sampling, and then start painting to remove the rope, just like that. And Affinity Photo does a pretty good job. Now here the texture did change. So again, I'm going to hold down Option, sample, and then start painting. Now the lines on this elephant's skin did get a little bit misaligned, so I'm going to attempt to heal it with another sample, and you do see a live preview, so it will help you line up those lines just like that. That looks a little bit better. Now around the eye, it's a little bit trickier because we have a lot of texture going on and a lot of different texture. So I'm going to decrease the size of my brush a little bit, create another sample, and then start painting in. Just to attempt to get rid of that rope nice and seamlessly. I'm going to go on the right side of the eye, try to make sure to line up the lines. I do have a little bit of weirdness going on, so I'm going to sample from the bottom, paint over here a little bit. And that's looking pretty decent. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. I can go ahead and create as many samples as I want just to try to get a nice seamless edit. I'm going to go to the right side of the eye, start painting out the rope right to his ear. I'm actually going to go ahead and sample his ear on the right side just underneath the rope, and then make sure the lines line up properly, and then paint out that rope just like that. That looks pretty good. Now for this area here, I can go ahead and increase the size of my brush with the right square bracket key, sample above the rope, and just make one nice big brush stroke across. And there we go. Now if I turn off this layer and turn it back on, we've done a pretty good job, and you can see the before and after and try to figure out which areas need a little bit of improvement. Let's go ahead and deal with the trunk. If we were to simply sample over here, you're going to notice that that line doesn't really line up, and it's going to give us a very strange result. So we actually have to rotate our sample. I'm going to increase the size of the brush just a little bit. Create a sample over here, which again, looking at the live preview, it doesn't line up. So at the top, we can actually control the rotation. I'm going to increase it to somewhere around 340. If we take a look at the live sample, it's a little bit too much. So I'm going to increase it just a little bit more to around 344. And now if I paint over top of it, we now have a much more accurate line that lines up with the rest of the trunk. And we can make multiple samples just like we did before to make sure everything is looking nice and aligned. And if I head over to my layers and turn off that layer and turn it back on, we can see that with the healing brush, we've gone ahead and removed the rope that was in front of our elephant. And that will just about do it. Healing and removing objects from your images using Affinity Photo. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more Affinity Photo tutorials. Follow me on Twitter at Iceflow Studios. And if you're the kind of person who loves podcasts, myself and Nathaniel Dotson have a brand new podcast. We're on episode number 3 called We Geeks, where we talk design, photography, and general geekiness. You can check that out at wegeekspodcast.com. Stay tuned for more tutorials, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.